안녕하세요 여러분, 매트입니다. 오늘은 금요일입니다. 이번 주 진짜 고생이 너무너무 많았고요. 드디어 주말이 왔다. 우후! 4일 동안 이렇게 책을 읽었는데 오늘은 마지막 날입니다. 그래서 열심히 해볼게요. 네. 주말이니까 푹 쉬세요. Friday. I'm blue. I went to my parents' house after a long time. It was my birthday. As always, my mom cooked up a storm in the kitchen, preparing a feast just for me. I was already full, but she kept insisting I eat more, so I shoved a few extra bites into my mouth. My son is such a sweet boy who listens to his mom so well. My sweet son never even went through puberty. I'm so grateful to you for growing up so well and being so good. My son is the best. She playfully gave me a thumbs up with a big smile, and I couldn't help but smile back. But she's wrong. I did go through puberty. Back then, in middle school, I could already see how much my parents were struggling, so I kept everything to myself. In my puberty, I was blue, just like everyone else. My voice was getting heavier, lower, and even that felt awkward to me. When I was little, I was always happy and excited. But as I grew up, the things I had to study piled up. I didn't even know what I wanted to do in the future or what I really liked. But people always asked, "What's your dream? What kind of person do you want to be?" Those questions weighed on me. I used to feel like the center of my world, but at some point, I realized I was just a small part of it. With that shift, I started noticing things I wanted, but knew my family couldn't afford. And slowly, I began giving up on things before I even had a chance to start. A mess of bad emotions tangled up inside of me, like a blue bruise only I could see, hidden tightly under my clothes. It was a shameful feeling, one I didn't want to let anyone know about, something I didn't want anyone to catch. My own blue that I never wanted to show. My blue spread deeper and murkier until it filled my whole body. My mom still doesn't know. But there was a day when I tried to run away from home. You know those days when you just can't sit at your desk, don't want to talk to anyone, but still feel like you have to do something? It's exam period. I'll study in the library and come home late. I lied to my mom, grabbing my bag and heading straight to the express bus terminal. I'd been there a few times before when I traveled to my grandma's house with my mom, but this was my first time going alone, and I couldn't shake the worry that I might get on the wrong bus. I double-checked the bus number, then checked it again. Finally, I got on. As the bus pulled away, the scenery outside shifted from square buildings and crowded streets to wide open rice paddies and empty fields. The bus rumbled on for a long time. My destination was the observatory. In front of the ticket booth were me and friends from another school's astronomy club. I had bravely run away, but I was also a little scared. Then I spotted their teacher standing by the ticket booth and I felt relieved. I guess I was still just a kid. I hiked up the dark mountain with them. Out of breath by the time we reached the observatory, I was overwhelmed by the towering dome as its roof began to open, shifting like a transforming robot. Wow, they all gasped in unison. I couldn't bring myself to say anything loud, but inside I was shouting, Wow, this is amazing. Then I looked up at the stars through the enormous astronomical telescope. The first star I saw was the morning star. It was Venus. To the naked eye, the star was just a tiny dot of light. But through the telescope, it looked like a round ball of desert sand. I'd been quiet the whole time, but at that sight, a small wow escaped from my lips. Then, one of the students asked the teacher, "Teacher, Venus is the hottest star, right?" The teacher replied, "Not really. Venus isn't really hot. Scientists have recently discovered the hottest star in the universe. Here's a question for you. Does anyone know what color that star is?" Students from the astronomy club eagerly shouted out answers. Red, yellow, orange. Caught up in their excitement, I said, "Red," to myself and looked at the teacher. But the teacher shook his head and said, "No, it's a perfect blue." The group fell into a quiet murmur. Surprised by the unexpected answer, I felt a sudden surge of curiosity. When we look up at the night sky, all the stars seem like they're twinkling white, right? But in reality, each of those stars has its own color, and each color tells us something about the star's temperature. Yellow stars are hotter than red stars, and blue stars are hotter than yellow stars. Blue stars are the bluest, but they burn the hottest. That night was the biggest deviation of my life. I returned home as if nothing had happened. Curious, I looked up the blue star the astronomy club teacher had mentioned. The star's name was White Dwarf RX J0439 8-6809. It was a beautiful star, radiating an intense blue light, and it was 42 times hotter than the sun. I'm blue. But this sentence doesn't feel as heavy or depressing as it once did, because now I am the strong and beautiful blue. Tender bruises that hurt with even the slightest touch had once covered me in blue. Those growing pains shaped me into the person I am today. I'm an adult now, but if I could meet my teenage self, I really want to say, blue is a piece of life. Blue is beautiful and sad. You're in a blue paradise.
너무 감성적이었어요. 제가 뭐가 이 책이랑 나의 이모션들 너무 잘 맞는 것 같아서 너무 좋았어요. 아, 진짜요? 그 책에서 그 별 이름 있었는데 너무 예쁘네요, 진짜. 제 누나보단 더 괜찮긴 했는데 뭐 여기 책도 있는 것처럼 뭔가 부모님한테 이렇게 너무 힘들게는 안 만들고 싶었는데 근데 여기 그 슬픈 감정도 있는 게가 예쁜 것 같아요. 그 슬픈 감정을 내가 더 건강한 사람을 될 수 있게 해줘서 감사해요. 네. 말이 되나? 네, 사춘기 때 뭐 많이 헷갈릴 수 있고 너의 마음을 확실하게 모를 수 있는데 결국에 다 시간 지나가고 나서 너가 되고 싶은 사람이 잘 될 거니까 너무 걱정 말고 재밌게 놀면 돼. 프리하게 놀고 멋있는 성인이 돼줬으면 좋겠어요. 저희 5집 앨범 새로운 노래 블루가 나오는데 노래가 엄청 좋다고 생각했고 춤도 엄청 아름답고 이 책이랑 감성이 비슷한 내용이에요. 그래서 이거를 잘 이해해주고 우리 신곡을 들어주면 너무 감사하겠습니다. 금요일인데 이번 주 너무너무 고생했고요. 너무너무 사랑하고 오늘도 잠을 잘 자고 주말이니까 푹 쉬고 나중에 또 보일 거니까 너무너무 보고 싶을 거야. It's Friday. You guys have worked so hard. You guys are everything to me. So I hope you have the best sleep ever. And the weekend is coming up. So I want you to enjoy yourself. And good night. I love you so much.